Most professors were full-time professors. About maybe 25% were adjuncts. And now that statistics has been turned upside down. We adjuncts are a cost-cutting measure. We're just like temp secretaries. We're like the independent contractors. These are all just fancy names for people who you can get to work cheaper without any job security. You can hire them and fire them as you need them. You pay them no benefits. And in the academic world, they call us adjuncts. And there are all kinds of problems with that for our students. We aren't worse teachers. Many of us are better teachers. We do this because we love it, because we certainly aren't getting paid for it. The adjunct salaries are not just a little bit lower than full-time salaries, they're a fraction of full-time salaries. And that's true not just at Point Park or not just in Pittsburgh, but nationwide. The number of adjuncts, the percentage of adjuncts in most colleges and universities is anywhere from 2/3 to 3/4. And that is not accidental. It is part of a larger movement in the labor market to keep people scrambling for jobs and not to offer them the kind of job security that they need in order to do a good job for their, whatever it is, in this case for our students. There are lots of reasons why we do it anyway. Many of us just really want to be teachers, and now there aren't enough full-time jobs for teachers. The good news about all of this is that it's coming into the open. Nationwide, there are now more than 200 campuses at which unions have been successful in getting collective bargaining for the adjuncts. And that means, in every single case, it means that we get a better situation for our teaching. We get more money, we get some promise of job security. Right now at Point Park, I won't know until sometimes a day or two before a course is supposed to start whether it's actually going to happen. In fact, many of us here do know, because the truth is we have jobs that are the same as full-time. For instance, I teach French. And I know that as long as we're offering French here at Point Park, I'm going to be teaching 2 and 3 courses a term. I'm allowed to teach up to 3. Why is that not a full-time position if I get those courses every single time? So that's one kind of adjunct problem. The opposite adjunct problem is that sometimes we're asked to teach courses, but it isn't clear if there are going to be enough students in our section. In that case, we can have the course pulled out from under us, and that has happened to me too. So people who are counting on that money are just left nowhere. There are adjuncts, and this again is not limited to this institution, this is the rule rather than the exception. There are many younger adjuncts who are actually trying to make a living doing this. Good luck. Because if you go around to 2 or 3 or even 4 campuses and work a course here, a course there, with an average pay of just over $2,000 a course, you're lucky to make $16,000 or $17,000 a year. That's below poverty line for people in the U.S. When I talk to other workers about being an adjunct professor, I shock them when I told them how much we make. Because the image is of a person who ought to be making a lot more money because we have advanced degrees. You don't usually associate somebody with an MA or MS or PhD with a minimum wage worker or under a minimum wage worker. It's bad for everybody, really. It's what we've been stressing and what I'm getting from students is how bad the students feel about this. While we're being paid so poorly, tuitions are going up and up and up. The tuitions are going to pay inflated salaries to high-level administrators. And there's this huge discrepancy between the top and we're at the bottom. And yet we're the people who spend the most time with the students. And the students are the reason that all the rest of us are here.
Hi, my name is Luke Niebler. I'm an adjunct professor in the English department at Point Park University and CCAC, right across the river. I've been at Point Park for about 2 years, CCAC for 3 years, and yeah, I've been working with the United Steelworkers on the union campaign here at Point Park. The reason that we want to unionize, a large part of that is getting more voice in the governance of the university. We really, as adjuncts, constitute a huge portion of the faculty, but have very little say in curriculum development, or, for example, the current redesign of the English curriculum, which is going to be taught by a lot of adjuncts. We don't have anything to do with that or any input in that process, even though we're teaching these classes. Additionally, just the pay disparity. I mean, yes, there's a lot of adjuncts at Point Park specifically who are moonlighting, you know, they have a full-time job, but there's also a lot of adjuncts that are supporting themselves by teaching at multiple schools, like myself. And regardless of whether or not you're moonlighting or trying to support yourself with this work, it devalues the worth of education and of teaching when adjunct instructors are paid so little. And in fact, I make slightly more over at CCAC per class. All of a sudden have started having these adjunct faculty forums and doing this ad hoc adjunct faculty committee at the very last minute, as if they're like, oh my gosh, we have 78% adjuncts here. How did that happen? What are we going to do about this? All of these professors that don't necessarily have the professional, financial, or institutional support of the rest of the faculty, or that the rest of the faculty has, but are teaching such a huge number of the undergraduates. Contemporary logic in higher education administration, anything to save a buck. Supportive faculty, supportive students is secondary to financial resources, which we're seeing across the board in higher education. You know, it doesn't matter what the student experience is as long as it looks good. As long as you're getting the enrollment and retention that you need to hit, doesn't matter. You got to cut corners, you might as well start with faculty. Have this revolving door of people being underpaid, exploited, burning out, and then going to work somewhere else. And that's just not a sustainable way to maintain a university, to provide good education. And students aren't dumb. Now I'm looking for a job. I'm probably going to be working at a coffee shop over the summer because I only got one class between the two schools. And having some sort of job security, some stability there, would make me a better instructor. I could dedicate my time full-time to that rather than, spending finals week sending out cover letters and resumes trying to get work for the summer.